Oh, there we go. This was it. It was this one. And the comments. Right, so there we go. So this one is from Dan. He asked, "How do I stop my dog from persistent barking when someone enters my home?" So people go about this in the wrong way. They use training methods to stop their dogs from doing bad behaviors, but this is wrong. This is not what you should be doing. You need to understand the psychology behind a dog. And when you do, when you understand dog psychology, you understand that training and using negative reinforcement or positive reinforcement is just dumb. It's just stupid. So the reason why your dog is persistently barking is because their energy levels are heightened. And so what you need to do is teach your dog how to regulate their emotions. If you teach your dogs how to regulate their emotions, their anxiety or any negative behavior they're exhibiting will reduce. So you don't need to be telling your dog off. You don't need to be giving them treats. You don't need to be doing positive or negative reinforcement. What you want to do is teach your dog how to be a calmer dog. If you can do this one thing and teach your dog how to be a calmer dog, all these behaviors will just go. They will stop. This is why some people they don't have any issues with their dogs and some they don't. Sometimes it is down to luck and it's down to genetics, and you just genetically you have a dog that's genetically more nervous than another dog. Doesn't always mean you're it's down to breed, although some breeds they are naturally more nervous or anxious or aggressive, but it can just be down to get down to genetics, which is why it's so important to buy a dog from someone that is accredited, because if they're just breeding willy nilly to get money from people, they're not going to be breeding behavioral habits and traits that are positive. They'll just breed dogs because of the way they look, and this is why dogs have a lot of bad behaviors, because you have two beautiful dogs, but both of them have nervous traits, and people just ignore that and then breed them, and then subsequently you have puppies with that are uh, more likely to have nervous traits or exhibit nervous behavior. All dogs can be trained. Okay, so there's this narrative that my dog is the way he is and it can't be trained. I know it feels like that because you're struggling, but all dogs can be trained. I have never not been able to train a dog. The only times I have not been able to help a dog is because the owner refuses my help. That's the only time. If an owner is willing to listen and comes to me not with some funny idea that they've learned on the internet, and they genuinely want help, I have never not been able to train a dog. And these simple things, they help massively. So, when your dog is persistently barking, yes, you can put the dog on the lead. Yes, you can correct your dog. Yes, you can give them treats and, reward them for positive behavior and negative behavior and punish negative behavior. You can do these things, but it's not as effective. And the other thing is, your dog is the way it is because of certain things, because it's not able to regulate its emotions or understand its emotions. So just training a dog in that specific area, for example, barking when someone comes inside the house, you may correct that one behavior, but then there's more behaviors that your dog does. So maybe they're an anxious dog and they bark when the doorbell or someone's at the door, or someone rings the bell. and maybe they're a dog that wheezes and poos a lot. And see, these things are all tied, they're all linked to the same thing, the same emotion. So you need to take a step back, forget about your dog barking at the door for a minute, and just try and understand your dog, and try and think, how can I help my dog? What's wrong with my dog? My dog is nervous, okay? My dog is aggressive, okay? My dog is anxious, or a mixture of them. Usually a dog that is anxious usually is nervous as well. And even aggressive dogs, their aggression comes from different places. Some dogs have nervous aggression. Some dogs have protection aggression or defensive aggression. So you need to understand your dog better. I know this is hard, but understand one thing. Your dog is the way it is because of how it's been bred and its genetics. So breed to breed, this varies, but mainly it's just down to genetics. So if you understand this thing, and you understand that certain breeds exhibit certain behaviors because of their genetics, you then know and understand how you can help your dog. The difference is the tools that you're given to help, which is why I want to show things on my platform and help people. So the main thing, the most basic thing, and this helps the majority of people, is just stroking your dog at the correct times. Time and time again, I see the same thing happen. I see an owner that loves their dog and that cares for their dog, and they try and reassure their dog, but they do it when the dog is in a negative state of mind. And when you stroke your dog, when your dog is in a negative state of mind, you reward this bad behavior. Any bad behavior your dog is exhibiting, if you stroke, reward, or talk to them at that time, you reinforce that bad behavior. So that's the first thing you need to do, is stop doing that. I know this is going to take a long time, but you need to wait there with your dog, wait for your dog to calm down. So if someone, say for example, I'll explain how to do it practically here. So someone knocks on the door, your dog's barking. I would personally put them on the lead, just because they can be close to you, and being close to you, they will feel comfort from that. So put them on the lead, bring them next to you. You don't need to tell them sit down, anything. It's preferred if you can tell them down, because down, they're in a calmer state when they're in a down position. But I know this is very hard to do, so I wouldn't concentrate on that at the moment. Just concentrate on this one thing, please. So get someone to knock on the door. Your dog is on the lead. Your dog barks constantly. Might take 10, 15 minutes. If your dog is really stubborn and naughty, it's going to take half an hour. So be it. Spend half an hour with your dog, and when your dog then calms down, so you get the person to knock on the door. The person walks in the door, shuts the door, and just get the person to stand there. That's it. Don't do anything. Get the person to stand there, stand still. He's welcome to look at the dog and things, but just stand there, don't do anything. And you stand there, don't do anything. Both of you are calm. If the person comes in the door and starts, talking in a high-pitched voice, hello, oh, hello, it's going to heighten your dog's energy levels, so no wonder they bark. So get the person to stand there, calm, collective, okay? And then you yourself are calm. Your dog will then feed off of that energy and will calm down. Eventually, it might take 10, 15 minutes, might take 5 minutes, might take 2 minutes, might take 30 minutes, but do it for your dog. It will make your dog a happier dog. So just be patient. After half an hour, let's say it takes an hour, hope not, but let's say it takes an hour, your dog calms down. And what you'll notice, your dog will relax. So they're in a tense state, and then they will relax. When they're in that state, then stroke them, then reward them. Give them treats, give them whatever you want. Give them chicken, stroke them. If you do that, what will happen is you're then telling your dog, when you're in that state, you will be rewarded. And then what happens is the next time someone comes in, I know it'll be annoying for your visitor to wait there for another hour, but so the visitor comes in again, and last time it took an hour, but this time it took half an hour. And if you do it again, next time it'll take 20 minutes, next time 10 minutes, next time 5 minutes. And at the end of doing this for several times, what you will have is a dog that when someone comes into your property, they knock on the door. They may still bark a little bit, but then they will tell you, "Hey, mum, there's someone at the door." You go to the door, and your dog will wait there patiently and wait for you to reward them. They will wait because that's what they want. They want positive reinforcement. They want reward. They want a treat. So and then that's why you get dogs when people knock on your door. The dog barks, but then runs to you and says, "Hey, mum, someone's at the door." You open the door, and your dog just waits because they want to greet the person. They want to be rewarded by the person and by you. So do this one thing. Be patient. It takes time, but reward your dog only when they exhibit a positive behavior. And in this case, when a dog is anxious, a positive behavior is calmness. Anything they do that shows a sign of calmness. So this could be if they're standing and they, by themselves, without you prompting them, sit, then that is a positive behavioral trait that they're exhibiting. If you look at their facial expressions and their body language, they will show you with their body language that they've calmed down. So they'll go from a heightened, agitated state, and when they're looking around, they will, look very fast. When they calm down, what they will do is look slowly. Oh, hey, it's this person. Oh, look, it's this person over here. So they will be a lot calmer, and their movements will be slower. And that's when you want to be stroking your dog, when they're calm. I'll do a video on it to explain it properly, but all my dogs are calm and don't have that kind of behavior. So the next dog I have that is anxious and the person is okay with me filming, I will do it for you guys, and so you can see firsthand what it's like and how it works and how effective it is. Training, say for example, this dog, I went to the person's house, the dog was barking, I told it off. I told it off again. I told it off again. That may fix the issue. That may help the dog at that specific situation. But what will happen is, because I haven't taught the dog to self-regulate its emotions, that dog will exhibit negative behavior somewhere else. So this is why people go to trainers, and then they bring their dogs home, and their dogs do a different behavior. So something that they never did before, they see them doing it because that trainer has helped that dog in that specific area. But now that dog has energy that it needs to release, and it releases it in a different way. I've had people that have gone to trainers, and so they come to me asking for my help, and they say that their dog, before they went to the trainer, never chewed anything inside the house ever, and then after they've been trained, they come home and they start chewing furniture, your remote controls, whatever it may be, socks, shoes, whatever it might be, and it's because of this reason. You're teaching the trainer is stopping that behavior and stopping your dog from essentially expressing themselves. This is essentially what it is, and not teaching your dog to self-regulate his emotions, not teaching that dog to be a happier, healthier dog, and promoting calmness in your dog. So then your dog acts out and does something like chewing because they have energy they need to release, and they have to release it somehow. I've even had people that have had their dogs trained, and the dogs afterwards end up being aggressive. And it's for the same reason. It's because they went to a trainer because of a simple issue, let's say lead pulling. The trainer has used negative reinforcement incorrectly. Negative reinforcement used correctly will work. There's no issue with that. Negative reinforcement used incorrectly at incorrect times and too forcibly, depending on the dog. If you're using too much force, it will have a negative impact on your dog. Some dogs you need to be firm. Some dogs, they need no firmness. If you are using negative reinforcement on a dog that is nervous, you will mess that dog up. I know you've trained 100 dogs and it's worked on all 100 dogs, but that one dog that has had a bad life, and if you use negative reinforcement on that dog, you will mess that dog up. And then that dog will go home to its owner and start chewing, start barking, start chewing, start attacking the owner, or start, biting children or whatever it might be. It's because you haven't taught that dog, you haven't taught that dog to be calmer. You haven't showed that dog how to understand its emotions. You've just told that dog off for exhibiting a negative behavior, and then the dog does something else to act up or to release its emotion in a different way. Children do the same thing. It's in a different way, and obviously children are, I was going to say smarter than dogs, but sometimes they're not. But yeah, this is the reason. So you need to understand the reasons why your dog is doing something. So yes, your dog is barking, but why is your dog barking? It's not as simple as, yes, my dog is barking, I get the lead, I tell it off, now it doesn't bark. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. You will cause more issues. You need to teach your dog how to be a calmer, happier dog. This is the end goal. And by doing this, you need to understand your dog. Dogs, every dog is different. So if a dog barks at another dog when you walk them, it doesn't always mean that they're nervous or aggressive or they're anxious. It could be a mixture. It could be they're aggressive but also anxious. It could mean they're nervous but also anxious. It could mean that they're nervous, aggressive, and anxious. It's a mixture of those things, and you need to understand and figure out where these things come from. Is it a learned behavior or is it genetics? It's one of the two. It's either a learned behavior or it's genetics or a mixture of the two. You need to figure this out, and once you figure this out, you need to use the correct tools to help that dog. Just using, so like people that do videos online and they're showing corrections on the lead, and then people watch that. Thousands of people watch people doing corrections on the lead, and they start doing it to their dog. But their dog might not have needed corrections. They might have needed positive reinforcement. And you're using corrections on a dog that might have needed positive reinforcement and no negative reinforcement. What happens? You mess that dog up. So you need to be careful what you do. You need to understand what you're doing first, and not just doing random stuff because you watched it on a TikTok video. Okay. That's it for today. I'll be live tomorrow, and then we can discuss something else. Thank you.